A brand new and very detailed plot leak for Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker, just hit the web. We've got to talk about it.
It's like the news, but for nerds.
Today's shout out goes to Doctor Strange Parkour. Indeed, Riri Williams attended MIT when she built that Iron Man suit. Make sure you stay to the end of this video where we will ask another nerd card question. What's up, everybody? Happy Tuesday to you. I'm Josh. Welcome back to the den, and I've got to issue a spoiler warning right off the top. Guys, I really believe that these leaks are pretty accurate. So if you don't want to know anything about Star Wars Episode 9, get on out of here. And at the end of this video, I'm going to explain why I believe these leaks as well, because I know there's some confusion out there about whether or not to believe these and why do we have all these leaks and all that. So we'll get to that. Okay, you're still here? Awesome. So check this out. JediPaxis, this guy that did the plot leak from a couple of weeks ago that really blew everyone away. Yeah, this guy just did another very detailed plot leak on Reddit. Like literally, at the time of recording this, it's been posted for like an hour maximum. I'm not gonna touch on everything that's in the plot leak. Go check it out on Reddit in the Star Wars spoilers subreddit. It's really interesting, but I am gonna talk about a few key points. Number one, it is revealed that Kylo Ren is seeking some kind of source of power that he believed Snoke had access to. We think that he's trying to figure out what Snoke was doing, what Snoke knew in the film that he did not, and he's going and seeking this power or this thing that he believes Snoke had. And what's really interesting is General Pride and Hux actually believe this to be a big waste of time. So there's this really interesting thing where Kylo is kind of doing the Sith thing. You know, he's doing the Force thing, and the Empire's like, bro, there's nothing there. But alas, there is something there, and he finds the Oracle and this Wayfinder device, okay? And it takes him out into the unknown regions, and this is where he meets Palpatine. Now, the way this scene is described is getting me pretty excited. I love the visualizations here. But apparently this planet will be called Exegol or something like that, and it is a planet filled with flat, black rock. I'm imagining something pretty crazy here, almost like obsidian. I hope it has a shimmer to it. And apparently he finds where this circle or this sphere is floating several feet above the flat black rock. And I'm really getting some cool, like almost Magic the Gathering type visuals from this. It seems pretty sweet. But either way, there's like a ladder or something underneath where the circle is, and he goes down there and he indeed finds an old man that's decrepit in a bed being taken care of by these attendants. And this person reveals himself to be Darth Sidious, and he says that he did not die at the Battle of Endor and instead escaped away from the galaxy to rebuild his empire, but he's obviously in pretty bad shape. And the leak says that Kylo actually refutes this and at first doesn't believe it at all, even suggesting that this could be a clone of Darth Sidious. So I find that to be fascinating, really cool, kind of touching base on some of the things fans are thinking. And this person, Sidious, apparently eventually wins Kylo over to the idea that he is indeed the actual Darth Sidious. Now, Palpatine then goes on to explain that he believes Kylo Ren and Rey to be this thing called a dyad. Now, this blew me away when I heard it, because if you've been following this channel for some time, you will remember a ton of different videos I did about Kylo Ren and Rey and their relationship, and I even spoke to this idea that I called like sort of the cosmic force balancing, and that they were basically embodiments of different sides of the Force that have literally been manifested by the cosmic force for some kind of a purpose.
And it all has to do with the cosmic force. You may have heard of the cosmic force versus the living force, and in this video I want to explain why Kylo Ren and Rey are basically embodiments of the light and dark side of the cosmic force, why that explains their levels of power and what it means for their relationship in Episode 9.
Well, this thing called the dyad is something that JJ is going to introduce in this film, and Palpatine is going to tell Kylo that he believes Kylo Ren and Rey are two parts of this dyad. And what he says is that what the dyad is these two Force users that actually get more powerful when they are together, okay? So there's this thing where they're kind of attracted to each other, maybe even opposite sides of the Force, but plainly it says that they are powerful embodiments of the Force, and then when they're together, they become even more powerful. Now, like I said, that blew my mind because it's actually something we speculated and theorized about here on the channel, and there were little clues about this sort of in the ancillary material, some of the novelizations and things like that, but I like that JJ is just gonna call it the dyad and just put it out in front of everyone and make it very easy to understand. And I'll get into more speculation about this in a second, but check this out. So this becomes part of the deal with the devil, if you will, with Darth Sidious, because what Sidious says to to Kylo, I think to sort of win him over, is that he has this fleet of Star Destroyers capable of literally destroying planets, that they're like Death Star-like Star Destroyers. We've talked about these before, but yeah, they're real and they're in the film. They're a part of this Sith fleet. And so what Palpatine is offering to Kylo is this fleet and the chance to solidify his power in the galaxy, and also he tells him that through the dyad, he and Rey could actually rule the Empire forever together. That if they worked together and ruled the Empire, nobody would ever be able to stop them. Now let me stop for a second here. I need to mention a few things. I know I get really ADD with these videos, I apologize. So check this out. One thing here is that Palpatine is clearly lying. And if you read into some of the other leaks, what it is suggesting is that Palpatine is going to tell Rey and Kylo that what he's trying to do is get them to rule together, but he's not actually trying to do that. You see, the dyad and the power that's created when they are working together or even close to each other is actually going to be the force power that revivifies Palpatine. This was in a leak I believe Jason Ward was talking about, but yeah, when I heard this, I immediately thought of Majin Buu from Dragon Ball. So in Dragon Ball, the character of Majin Buu like feeds off of this energy out there. And that's why Babidi keeps trying to get these people to fight, because the fighting is fueling the resurrection of Majin Buu. And famously, Vegeta and Goku absolutely go at it when Vegeta goes Majin Vegeta. And I know like non-Dragon Ball fans are like, what the f is he talking about? But if you're a Dragon Ball fan, you're right there with me. So those two fighting revivifies Majin Buu. I think that's something similar to what's going on with Palpatine, that Rey and Kylo fighting each other or with each other will be the thing that fuels Palpatine. So I believe he's lying. So it's a very Sheev thing to be like, help me, like I can't beat Mace Windu, you know, and getting Anakin to kill him. He will sometimes pull on people's heartstrings, and I believe what he's doing with Kylo is basically gonna present the idea that he's like, my time is over, boy. You and my granddaughter must rule together as the dyad. And then with that in mind, Kylo goes to do it, and then Sheev eventually flips and is like, psych, I just wanted to come back to full power. All right, so now let's get into a couple other things from this leak. There's another aspect to this where Rey is training with Leia, and Rey is being told to focus on her mental training, like meditation and using control mentally, and she's really bad at it. Like, she's good physically, and she's good with the force powers and all that, but she's bad at mental training, and she neglects it. She basically is like, you know, Master Leia, can we just stop with this? Let's actually do some combat training, physical training. And that comes into play later in the film when Kylo Ren and Rey fight, and what's really interesting here is JediPaxis is describing the scene from the first trailer, and he or she, whoever JediPaxis is saying that at this moment in time, Rey will know that Kylo's there, and she walks away from her friends with the Resistance to face him alone, to give them a little bit of time. And they fight, right? And that fight leads to the moment with the ship. This is something Jason Ward's talked a lot about, where there'll be this ship, and according to JediPaxis, this ship has captured Chewbacca, and so it's an Imperial ship that has Chewbacca on board, and Rey and Kylo begin to fight as Rey is trying to pull the ship back down and save Chewbacca, and Kylo Ren is trying to push the ship away and, you know, keep Chewbacca as a prisoner. Kylo gets the upper hand, and then Rey gets angry, and this is when the Force lightning comes out of her, and she destroys the ship, killing everyone on board. Now again, this is something I talked about when the lightning leak first happened. What I said in that video was, this will be a moment to give a big L to Rey, and ultimately this will be her fault. And in that video I even said, maybe this is because she doesn't have control or a lack of training that she hasn't done. And when we think about what just was said about Leia and her, where she's doing the mental training, you know, focusing on control, and she's like, nah, I'm no good at this, let's throw lightsabers around, that's gonna totally be Rey's fault. Ultimately, it is her fault that she destroys the ship and literally kills Chewbacca, like R.I.P. Chewie. And I'm not gonna lie, like I did find it humorous. I know it'll break a lot of people's hearts, but I did find it humorous where I was like, well, what are they doing with Kylo Ren and Rey? Like, Kylo gets the kill on Han Solo, but Rey's gonna kill off Chewbacca. Like, are they trying to like even that out in the eyes of fans? It seems weird, right? Who knows? Maybe Chewie will come back, right? Maybe he's not actually dead, but it's possible. It's possible he's gone and Rey killed him. So then apparently the heroes will go to find Rey, but it says in the leak that she collapses in defeat after, you know, destroying that ship. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys, my raw reaction to this was like, finally Kylo gets a win on this. Like, whoa. I mean, I can't help it. Like, he's just gotten L after L against her. It's about time he gets a W. My next thought was like, yo, what if he lets her live because she seemingly let him live in Snoke's throne room? And what if there's also an aspect to it where he's letting her live because well, she's a part of the dyad and he ultimately wants to rule with her. Okay, so that's pretty much all the main topics I wanted to touch on. Now there's other stuff in this leak, you should check it out. There's some Lando stuff, possibly tying him to Finn, kind of interesting there. We'll see how that plays out. But by and large, the Palpatine, Rey, and Kylo stuff is the most interesting to me. I think it's the beat of the story. So yeah, that's kind of some really crazy stuff. What do you guys think about some of these things that JediPaxis is talking about? And now a word on leaking. I've seen a lot of comments from people about like, hey, how can these leaks even be real? Like this time last year or this time 2 years ago with The Last Jedi, we didn't have these kind of leaks. And Josh, you weren't accurately talking about many leaked things back then. And the honest to God truth is that things have just changed. Like number one, for me personally, I didn't really know where to look for a lot of this stuff, and I was legitimately getting a lot of my info from Mike Zero. And that's not a dig, like Mike, you know, whatever, he's doing his content, he's doing his thing, but he's less than accurate. He's not a good source. Like that's just the nicest way I can say that. And there's a lot of other places that I was getting info from, and I couldn't really, there weren't good sources. And beyond even that, nowadays, places like Reddit and, you know, different places like that are better at verifying who these people are. Are they legitimate leakers or not? And so basically, we've just got a way better pipeline for these leaked information. And I also think it's really crazy for people to like take these leaks and pick apart everything that's wrong with them, because ultimately here, this is like secondhand information, and we've got to see the context of how it happens in the film. And so like the Palpatine thing, for instance, when one of the leaks before was talking about how he wanted Rey and Kylo Ren to rule the galaxy, that was something Palpatine wanted, but a lot of people were like, yo, that's out of character for him. And I was sitting back like, yeah, it is out of character for him, but we have to see how it plays out. And the new leak is suggesting, at least in my mind, that he's lying about that. Like the way I'm putting the leaks together is that he's lying, and that seems like a total Sith and Sheev move. And in general, I just see a lot of like, hey, if these leaks are real, Star Wars Episode 9 is screwed kind of people out there. And like, I get it. It's the popular thing to hate on Star Wars right now. Like, I get you, you know, do you, boo. But for those of you that are actually reasonable out there, like I would suggest not getting too attached or trying to pick apart all of the things that are wrong with these leaks, and just kind of saying, hey, these are sort of markers of cool things that could happen. I'm interested to see how they actually play out. That's how I view the leaks, and that's why I'm totally okay with talking about them, and I'm still gonna enjoy the movie. So yeah, let me know what you think about all of that and more in the comment section below. Now let's check the nerd card. Before we get out of here, I want to know, what is the in-universe canon name for the dice that Watto uses to roll in The Phantom Menace? This was to see whether or not they'd actually bargain, or whether or not Qui-Gon could keep the boy and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I want to know, what is the name of the dice, but the in-universe Star Wars name for the dice? Answer that question in the comment section below. As I always say, I hope you're having an awesome and a nerdy day, and I'll see you in the next video.